Hello, COPPELL Rotary. Well, sorry I can't be with you guys this summer. I work here every year up here in Gainesville at Camp Sweeney, and we're only midway through our first session. Put together the video that you guys are going to watch tonight. I hope you like it. I thought about COPPELL Rotary as kind of a family, and so I kind of went with that theme. And just sit back, enjoy the video, and hope I get to see a lot of you real soon. Thanks.
Well, we talked about early struggles and I think success and growth. We've covered that. Memorable Rotary projects. We talked about, the wheelchair. I mean,
locally we've got
Bill's got a good story.
the entrance to COPPELL on South Beltline. The sign that put in there, we did that.
Gail, it was Mike Cogburn that was the architect for the entrance sign.
Oh, the one there on Beltline.
The one on Beltline at
okay.
the 635
Okay.
exit going north.
Yeah.
You see the COPPELL Rotary sign.
Wow, it's still there.
It's still there.
Still there. Awesome.
And the hopes was that we could have like up to 8 club type signs on there, like the Rotary Club emblem, and then of course the Exchange Club and the Lions Club. We got them to pitch in to help build that because it was like a $15,000 project. So it was $5,000 per club, and then all the members worked to build that sign.
That's neat.
Unbelievable.
And it's still there.
Yes.
And in 18 and in 90 was also when we started with RILA.
Exactly right.
There was the very first RILA
1990.
in 1990, and we were the first club that sent 2 kids.
Right.
Really? Everybody else was only sending one.
I remember that because I was president. we had 2 kids, and we also had, not only did we send kids, but we had also 2 or 3 people that participated in being the guides
Counselor.
and the counselors and whatever. And I think for years, I don't know how it is today, but I guess Kevin should still count for us to be a counselor today.
And his daughter.
But for years and years, Jeff Waters went out as a counselor, and Kevin, I would think those 2, maybe another one.
Well, Ken Havron was
Ken
involved.
Havron
was involved
quite
with
a
that
few years.
heavily.
Yeah, quite a
Yes.
few years.
Don, you were a counselor, weren't you?
Yeah.
No,
No,
It's amazing to me the people who participated in RILA, both as a student, as a RILA participant, or as a counselor or as a Rotarian. They have such a passion for that,
Working
venue.
with the children.
It's amazing.
Not
you know,
everybody
and
coming
RILA, particularly.
Right.
It's a leadership training for young children, for young adults, actually.
Yep,
you know,
exactly.
It's
juniors
so
in high school.
impactful on their lives.
It
You can
is.
see that when they come back and tell us about it. It's
we
just changes
we have
their lives.
a club in our district that was created almost entirely of RILA alum, the North Texas Pioneers.
wow.
So these kids got involved. They would go back as counselors, and then they eventually have now formed a Rotary Club.
Girl, that's-
The club was kind of a different thing whenever I first joined. It had probably about 45 to 50 members, a little bit bigger, and a lot of the folks were not in town, or they lived in town, but they worked in Dallas, and so a lot of them were sort of transient, but and moved on. But the club always had a real good core, and for its size, it's obviously gotten down to about 20, 25 range in more recent years, but for its size, I always felt like our club had done as much as any club in the entire district as far as active service and projects and that sort of thing. So it's always really a privilege to be a part of that.
I certainly have not been a member that long, but when I joined, I knew it was something I wanted to be a part of. All of the members were so welcoming, and then I learned just how much they did for the community, and I learned how much they did beyond the community. I knew several people in the club, and I thought, this is something for me. So I was invited to join, and I was excited to be part of it. And when I look back on what this club has done in 30 years, I'm really proud to say I'm a member of the COPPELL Rotary Club.
Well, I joined the club in December of 2002. So I've been in the club for the past 10 years, which is a third of its history. And what's really noticeable to me is that the club that I joined was rather quiet and reserved. And the club has become much more open and engaging and inviting and welcoming.
COPPELL itself has not been a large community for that long. And although I haven't been around for 30 years, I've only been around for 6, but I've seen so many good people give back so much to this community. It's amazing what this club has done in 30 years.
Another thing Rotary did, and it wasn't us doing it, but it was the Essex tour, which they would take kids that were exchange students from all over the U.S. They had to pay for it, so it was kind of limited. There used to be only about 500 kids that they would put into buses, and they would ship them around the U.S. for about 6 weeks. They would make tours, and they would stay sometimes in hotels. Most of the time, however, or at least I know that's where they liked the most. When we had like 20, 30, 40 kids that we would pick up. Every family that takes them takes 2.
They stayed
And you
at
have
home.
them, they stayed at home, and you just have them for a weekend.
For sure.
It was like Thursday, Friday, or Sunday, or something like this.
2 to 3 days.
And there was usually something arranged. We used to have one party for the kids, and you would take them to show them the town, show them around. And the interesting part is that when you had these parties, that you had a kid just about from every nation. It's like you cannot imagine where all of these kids came from.
And our exchange students, we did have a very active exchange student program, and had some very, very interesting people that, young people that came through our club and stayed for a long time.
I
People
remember
are still keeping in contact. You remember the Japanese girl?
No, I think that was before my time.
Really?
No, was
Oh,
she
she was
nice?
nice.
I remember the little girl from Argentina, and she was so sweet. She came to every meeting. She was there at 7 o'clock every morning, just so sweet.
And the girl from Jordan,
Yeah, Shireen.
Shireen. I think everybody remembers Shireen.
Yeah.
She had those.
I follow
Camel.
Shireen's Facebook.
Do you?
Yes, to this day.
What's she
She was
doing
a
now?
great girl.
She's graduated from college.
Wow.
She's out in the world, making it better, I'm sure.
Cool.
One of the things that is sort of, I'm sort of coming out with a story that has actually never been told at the club. But back in the early 2000s, John Moore was the president of the club, and I didn't think that things were going quite as lively and quite as amusing as I thought they should be. And so I began writing a shadow piece in the bulletin once or twice a month, not disclosing who I was at the time. Bonnie Kingsbury was the bulletin editor. She was the owner of a UPS store here locally. And so when I would critique various and sundry things as far as activities in the club, and it was quite interesting. One of the specific things I talked about is Daddy Jack's used to have lights that hung down from the ceiling. They were over most of the tables in the restaurant, and we set our podium up right under those lights. So each and every time we'd have a guest in, they were constantly banging their heads on the lights. And so I made a comment one time about the head bangers in the COPPELL Rotary Club. And so it was interesting, it was enjoyable, and Bonnie and I were the only ones that ever knew that I was the author of all that foolishness that took place during John's administration.
I was president at the year 2000-2001. And that was a time we had a lot of transition, a lot of members were leaving or moving away, not a whole lot of growth. It was a time when, I wanted to shake some things up, so the whole handshaking thing that we do in the morning is something that I kind of brought in. It was something we do at church, so I thought, hey, I'm going to do it at Rotary. We would just come in and sit down, and people looked like they were just tired and didn't want to be there, and I thought, I got to get people up, get them motivated, and get this meeting going. So that's kind of how we did it, and it's stuck ever since.
Going forward, we have a good foundation of fundraising, a sustainable cause every year, our flag program, which we get COPPELL High School involved with, the band, the color guard, the Boy Scouts in the area. And that is just continually growing from when it was initiated back in 2002 approximately at about 500 flags. We're closing in on 900. And I think 1,000 will be a milestone to address growing pains maybe. But that's a good foundation for all of our service causes. We're actually looking at a second fundraiser that'll be sustainable and focus on community involvement and make COPPELL more aware of Rotary Club.
That was before I was a member. Ken Hebron asked me to go to the art auction at the Y. So I show up at this event, and I have no clue as to what a Rotary is. And you guys were some of you were in tuxedos.
Oh, yes, the servers.
Oh, yes, the servers.
When we were serving, the servers all were in tuxes.
So y'all served?
Yes.
Did you serve the wine?
Yes, absolutely.
And that was
On the
my
silver
first
platter?
introduction to anything Rotary. Was that?
So what'd you
And you
think?
figured this is a good outfit to join. They
No,
serve
no.
wine in
Yeah,
tuxes.
that's
No,
right.
I actually
That's
didn't
right.
think that.
In a gymnasium. Yeah.
And it was several years later before Ken officially asked me to join.
So what took him so long?
It's a funny story.
Since you asked?
I tell people I had a 14-year waiting period to get into Rotary because that's how long I lived across the street from Ken Hebron until the time he asked me to join Rotary. It was 14 years. So
That's why you still have new member on your back.
exactly. So, and we were at a new member orientation one night, and some guy got up and he said, "I remember someone talking about a 14-year waiting period." And I said, "Yeah, that was me."
But then look even at the other fundraiser that we started maybe 10 years ago. Our flag program.
Yeah, 2002.
Yeah.
Ralph Seeley was our president.
Yes, when we went out and all of us went door to door every weekend for I don't know how many weeks to get it going. And I think we had in the beginning 300 and something flags were the most. That's how we started up with.
That's correct, because I was the first chairman because of
You were?
Ralph Seeley.
Yeah.
You were the first flag chair?
Said,
He
I need
was.
somebody
I know that.
because I can't get anybody to volunteer for that. And I said, hey, I'm patriotic. Everybody should have a flag.
Yeah.
Yes, let's do it. And I guess actually for the first 2 years I was the chair.
Good for you.
And
Well, I
then-
know by the
yeah.
time in 2006, when I came along, y'all were doing 400 and something
Yeah.
flags.
And we would go stand, as Hans said, we'd have one person standing at the sidewalk with the flag, and then we'd have two other Rotary members go up to the door and knock
From
on
door
the
to
door.
door, yeah.
I remember that.
And say,
Yeah.
and say,
In the
"Would
lightning
you like-
storm?
like
In the
to have a
lightning
flag?"
storm? Yeah, and I was carrying the flag, yeah. I thought, what did I get
Everybody
myself
left you,
into?
and you're
Yeah,
standing out
yeah,
there by
yeah,
yourself?
Yeah, I stood there and y'all went to the door. And that was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun, up and down
That
the
was
street.
great.
Forgot about that.
That's how it started.
Yeah, and we got a lot of flags sold in those first few years, and it's continued to increase to, what's the total
Don,
now?
yeah.
Don?
850
It's
flags.
amazing.
Yeah.
It is amazing.
I can't even tell you my neighbor's son. He came, he's actually a soldier, and when he saw that and he came back, he cried.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
It's beautiful when you drive down the street
Yeah,
and
it's a
they're
great
just
program.
flying.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
you know, we've got some photos here. We talked about Cozumel.
Right.
These photos have my children in here. That's
So
why
amazing.
I brought them. And then today they still talk about going down to Cozumel, going down to work on the project, you know, not going to the beach, not going, you know, to do all the touristy stuff, but going actually back and working, you know, on the school, with the school, handing out the school supplies.
When the kids see how
It
the
was
people,
amazing
when our
how
kids saw how
close.
the people down there lived,
Oh,
and how the
wow.
school kids lived, and they were in the COPPELL school system, and it was, it's like two different worlds. So it's a whole lot more that you have in Rotary than just serving even only your community. I mean, it's serving everywhere, but it's part of your community. It's part of your kids when they grow up, that they learn about life is not just COPPELL.
Rotary has been a great thing for me because it's given me an opportunity not only to meet great people and to make great friendships, but also to be able to give back to the community, to actually physically do things. You know, we're a doing club, or doers. We just don't write checks. We actually have projects. We go and we make things, we do things, we're out in the community. And the one thing that I'm excited about and hope that we really work on is letting the people and the citizens of COPPELL know, you know, more about who we are and what we do.
Many of my friends asked me, why did you join another organization? Why did you join Rotary? And I said, the beautiful thing about Rotary for me was that it was a group of like-minded, service-hearted people. So what I found in Rotary was this group of people that all wanted to do service. And it's great when you have a group that everybody wants to pitch in and do projects, and when you bring up an idea, there's this group of people that say, yeah, I'm in, let's do this project. So the reason I joined Rotary is because they are a service organization. They're service to the community, our local community, and then beyond that. One of the other things that was very exciting for me was how much work they do on the international level through the foundation. And when I was joining Rotary, I was beginning to look at, you know, how am I investing my money in charitable organizations? And when I looked at the foundation, the fact that 100% of the money goes to the cause was very much something I wanted to do. And so that just kind of increased my desire to be a part of Rotary.
As a luncheon club, I think we have many, many more people that are living and or working in COPPELL who can make lunch clubs that just wouldn't make a 7 a.m. breakfast. So the shift to lunch on Mondays opens up an opportunity for virtually anybody that we've ever talked to about Rotary, that's a time that they can make the meetings. But I'm also excited about the happy hour meeting time, which is an alternative meeting time. It's more relaxed, it's more informal, and I think that time really says, do you enjoy serving other people? Do you like helping make a difference in your community? If you do, which meeting works best in your schedule? I think we've got a great value opportunity, and I could easily see the club getting back up to 50, 60, 70 people.
I first walked in 2 years ago not knowing anybody. I just saw it in the website. So I walked in, although I was Rotarian before. I just felt part of it. Even from the beginning, I just kept on coming back, and I feel that's going to be what other people's going to feel when they come in.
Rotary here in COPPELL is an excellent service club. And for those individuals that are service-minded, this is a great opportunity, an outlet for service activities. And so anyone, and I encourage anyone, the folks that I visit, that have an interest in being involved not only in COPPELL, but on a national and international basis, encourage them to get involved with the Rotary Club.
I think we're going to make more and more, quite a bit of a difference in the community with all the projects that we have lined up, the calendar, a big community project coming up, and some international projects. I think a lot of people will know we're here, and a lot of members will feel more fulfilled that we've made a difference.
But we started this off with a toast to Rotary. I say we finish it with another toast,
Toast
to
to Rotary.
Toast to Rotary and the future of Rotary.
And the
30
Coppell
years.
Rotary Club.
Coppell Rotary
Coppell
Club,
Rotary Club.
30 years.
Cheers.
30 years. Cheers.